YouTube viewers, Rectangular back with another haul video. This time we have the Puck Wave from Hasbro Marvel Legends. Now they have branded this the Wolverine Wave, which I can see from a marketing standpoint why they did that. He's the most identifiable character in the wave, and I think they were hoping to maybe try to tie it into the release of the movie, if not theatrically, then on Blu-ray and DVD, which I don't know when the release date is for that. I think it's coming soon though, so maybe that's what the intent was. I don't know. All I know is that Puck is the mini Build-A-Figure, and all of the previous waves were named after the Build-A-Figure, so that's what I'm going with. This is the Puck Wave as far as I'm concerned. And initially I did not care about getting this wave. I made it early on. I made the decision not to collect X-Men. I do like X-Men, but there's just so many different characters, both heroes and villains, that I wanted to stay focused on Avengers, since that's my favorite team, and Fantastic Four after that, with villains both for Fantastic Four and Avengers, and then the space characters. That's pretty much what I decided to collect. So the main reason I got this wave was so that I could use the Emma Frost for a custom Snowbird, and also to get Puck, because Snowbird is on Alpha Flight and I want to complete my Alpha Flight team. So wasn't sure if I was going to keep the Wolverine, but I probably will end up keeping him. And as far as Cyclops and Sabertooth go, I'm planning on selling those. So enough about that. Let's go ahead and get these guys out of the package and get a closer look at them. So here we have all the figures out of the packages, and we have the Puck Build-A-Figure assembled. And I knew going into this wave that the Puck was going to be too small. Watching reviews from Anthony's Customs, and I believe Glenn Webman already reviewed all of these figures, so I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail into all of these, but I will show them individually just to give you my opinion of what I think of them. Like I said, I pretty much just got the wave for the Puck and for the Emma Frost, which I'm going to use for a custom Snowbird. But overall, I can say quality control, not very good. And I'll get into that into each individual figure. But yeah, Hasbro still kind of dropping the ball. Now, I did get these off of eBay, but as you saw before, it was the complete wave, and they were a pre-order. So I know some people in the community have had horror stories purchasing pre-ordered waves of figures off of eBay that just never shipped. But after placing my order, I don't know how I figured it out, but I figured out that it was actually somebody in the community who owns their own shop, who lives in the Bay Area, and I hadn't purchased anything from them before, but I got a really good deal on these with shipping. It was $100 for the entire wave. So if you consider Puck the 5th figure, that breaks down to $20 shipped for each figure, so not too shabby. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at these guys close up, and I'll give you quick and dirty rundown of what I think about them. Alright, let's go. Starting off, we have Sabertooth. Now, as many of you know, this is based on the Hyperion body mold, and yeah, not a bad figure. A lot of people really like this head sculpt, and yeah, it's not too bad. Personally, I am a much bigger fan of the, I want to say it's a Series 7 Sabertooth. That's probably my favorite one. Now, as you can see here already, you know, he's got brown splotch there on the boot, and on his butt he's got a lot of brown scuffs on his butt. So, man, come on, Hasbro. I mean, there's not even an excuse for that, because I mean, I could see where the paint is, you know, coming close to the, you know, the brown, but this is like completely at the very bottom, and that's like, I don't know. So pretty disappointing. Yeah, it's not a whole lot to say about the figure other than that. You know, we know that they didn't patch the holes, which is pretty bummer. Same as the Luke Cage, you know. It's just, I mean, it's nice to have flight stand posability, I guess, but I don't know. I think most people are going to be disappointed about that, but they did do a good job on the head sculpt. It does have some pretty decent paint shading in the hair and the beard. You can see his, my camera would stop focusing so much. Let's put it, there we go. So, yeah, pretty decent. You can see both of his fangs of his teeth. Can see that his eyes are pretty white. So, at least they didn't screw that up. But yeah, nothing real special. The yellow does look like they could have used some more paint in those areas that cover up the brown. But yeah, the lines are pretty straight. That's pretty blotchy there. I guess that's probably not going to show up on the camera. There's a little blotch there that needs a little bit more yellow, but yeah, nothing too special. I think they did a pretty decent job. I think that the feet could be a little bit bigger. Oh, speaking of which, there's some brown paint there on the side of the boot. I mean, I literally just took these out of the package, so I don't know. Hasbro, step it up, man. Alright, let's go ahead and check out the next one. Before we move on, I wanted to quickly just go over the comparison of Sabertooth with the two versions that I already have. These two are my favorite. On the left, from Toy Biz, we have the face-off Sabertooth with the non-yelling face, the more stoic face. And then on the far right we have the Series 7, I believe that's Series 7, Sabertooth, also from Toy Biz. And yeah, I much prefer these figures. It kind of seems like they went kind of a half and half. There's no fur. Oh, actually no, this is supposed to be the modern, the new Sabertooth here in the middle is supposed to be his modern costume, where he does not have fur on his shoulders or neck area. So now it makes sense why he looks that way. But much prefer these more classic looking versions of Sabertooth. Really like the having individual finger articulation on both of these, which, you know, that was something that we got spoiled with Toy Biz that we don't get from Hasbro. But anyway, let's still, the head sculpt is pretty nice. I think this head would actually look pretty cool on the on either any of the three or these other two Sabertooth figures. So something you could possibly swap out. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the next item. Next up we have Cyclops, and not a bad figure. I know growing up watching the 90s cartoon, Cyclops I think was probably my favorite character. I don't know why. I guess, I don't know, maybe I just liked his costume and I guess I kind of liked his being a leader of the team. But yeah, not too bad. It's a little bit of a, doesn't quite work all that well getting his hand that close to his head to do that classic pose. It's not horrible, but it's not great either, I don't think. It just could be a little bit tighter. I don't know, maybe the I don't know. Just, it was kind of a struggle to get it that close. But only major paint flaws on him was the wrist. There you can see it's kind of a line. I don't know if that was scraped in the package, or my guess is that they probably just put him in the package before he was dry. I don't know. This line here is a little smeared, not super clean. Other than that, pretty decent, you know, based on the Bucky cap body mold, which is a great mold. The lines are painted on, they're not sculpted, as most of you know already. Did a pretty good job. The amount of yellow doesn't really look like it needs an extra shade. Here it's a little bit faint on the shoulder there, but for the most part pretty clean, and looks like it got a decent amount of paint. I know some people have had issues with like the wrong thighs, I think, that were attached, or the wrong arms, but this one seems to be okay. The major complaint that I have, if I were going to keep this figure, is that it's nice that they went with a yellow plastic for the legs, but it doesn't quite match the color on the wrists or forearms. It's a slightly lighter color. You know, it's kind of like the like that shimmery plastic they went with the new Iron Man figures. So it's close. You know, on camera it's not that noticeable, but up close, when you actually have the figure in hand, it's a little more noticeable that the colors don't quite match precisely. So I think if you're a really good customizer, you could probably paint the lower legs to match the top, but I don't know that I would recommend it, because of those pinstripes would be really a bitch to go back over. So I would say good, not great. The head, you know, like most of the figures that we get nowadays, does have like I think the Luke Cage. You know, he's bald also. Well, you just can't see his hair, but when they take him out of the mold, it needs to be kind of sanded. So that's about the only thing that he really needs that's noticeable. Otherwise, not a bad figure. And let's go ahead and check out the next one. Here we've got the Emma Frost, and not a bad figure. It's very nice to see ankle pivot finally on these thinner female body molds. I was super excited when we finally got the Thunderbolts box set with the females that came in that wave. Were awesome. And so hopefully from now on we'll continue to get ankle pivot on all the figures, especially females, because it's always challenging to get them to stand, especially these really skinny ones. But yeah, I think for her it's not all that great because she's got heels, but it's a welcome addition. And this is all just white plastic there at the bottom. Lines are pretty clean. I did notice her paint is a little thin on this arm, and you can see it's kind of, there's a little bit of flesh tone exposed there at the elbow, and this could be a little bit cleaner. There's like flesh tone bleeding into her top. That's the only real major issue. Paint apps look pretty decent on the face. So they mostly covered her lips. It's a little bit thin there, the lipstick, I guess. Eyes turned out pretty well. Not really any shading in the hair. Maybe just a tiny bit. I might add more to that when I make her my snowbird. So yeah, not a whole lot to say about her. She's got that giant man hand, which came from the Invisible Woman and Spider Woman figure back in the MODOK wave. So not great, but she'll work well for what I need her to do. Alright, let's go ahead and check out the next one. Next up we have the Wolverine, and this is probably the worst figure in the wave as far as the paint apps and the sculpt go, or just the mold. Didn't have any issues with my previous X-Force Wolverine that I could really notice, but man, this guy, he's got some issues. So let's start off with the sculpt. My camera will agree here. Let's see here. So I don't know if you can see just how jagged the plastic is here. He's got a lot of excess plastic hanging off the side of his mask. It's like 1, 2, 3 chunks there that you know, if you had something soft, it would definitely snag on there. This side is kind of rough, but not nearly as bad as this side. What else? Not enough paint on the forearm here. It's pretty light. There's paint that's smudged into the glove from his flesh tone. Got yellow paint or blue paint missing from the shoulder there. You've got blue paint missing from the lower abdomen area. What else? More paint, blue paint missing on the back, the lower abs. Not enough paint, I think, under here. You can definitely see there's a line between the top and the bottom part of the shoulder, which, yeah, you're hardly going to see that, but it still bugs me. Then the top of the head, it definitely looks a lot, you can see blue kind of coming through the top of his mask there, or the costume. and you can like see a blue line. I mean, where the mold came together. Just it's kind of hard to see on camera, but in person it just looks like he's got a blue like miniature mohawk of some kind. And the claws look okay on the right hand, but on the left hand look pretty mangled. That is pretty terrible. Not anything as good as the one we got from the X-Force wave. It is a lighter color plastic. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But yeah, I just can't, and you know, trying to manipulate them, but they just don't seem to want to straighten out for me, so I'll probably have to try to heat them up, try to fix that. So boots look okay, but yeah, just really disappointed. I mean, yellow is always a bitch to deal with, but yeah, now compare him to the similar costume figure from the Red Hulk wave. Here we have the new Wolverine next to the version from the Red Hulk wave, also from Hasbro. And I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of how tall the new Wolverine is. I do kind of like the hip articulation just a little bit better. The ball joints are already starting to go loose on this Red Hulk Wolverine, so it becomes a little bit challenging to get him to pose in some stances. I do like the traditional boots on the Red Hulk one better, and I kind of like the shoulder pads as well. Kind of like the mask a little bit better too. Face, yeah, I do kind of like it a little bit better. Also, his head is not quite so pronounced as the new one is. So I know some people were complaining it doesn't have the red X or the X on his belt. So I don't know which version. I know his costume has changed so many times. I don't know what to make of that. I guess someone was mentioning, I think Anthony's Customs mentioning, sometimes he has the X, sometimes he doesn't. So I guess they figured since he already had the X on this one that they would leave it off. So yeah, that just kind of gives you a comparison for size and color. Now the plastic is a lot brighter yellow on the Red Hulk, and the blue is brighter blue as well. And in comparison, let's move him over and let's throw in the I want to say this, what do they call this, the Astonishing Wolverine? I can't remember. This is from Toy Biz, and this is the unmasked version. And so you can see it's a lot more of a mustard color, and the blue is a lot more metallic. This blue is actually, looks like might be even a little bit darker than the than on the new one. And last but not least, the X-Force version. So same sculpt. I did just want to kind of compare the claws from the new one compared to the old one. You can see how much lighter the new claws are compared to the old claws are more of a gray, and these are more of a silver, almost translucent type of plastic. So anyway, there you go with those guys, and let's check out another one. So last but not least, we have the Puck Build-A-Figure, and like I said, I'm really disappointed with the size of this figure. It's way too small in my opinion. The head is really tiny. I think major flaw is that they did upscale this from the Marvel Universe figure, which I think might even have upper thigh swivel. I can't remember. I know Shartimus Prime reviewed this figure, or the Marvel Universe version. Another major disappointment is there's no wrist pivot. It has rotation, but no joint going back and forth. And maybe they did that because they know that since we were gonna probably have him in the pose where he can balance on his hand, that not really useful to have it be movable at that point. I don't know, but yeah, the paint shading is not that great. It's just barely kind of brown. I don't even know. It's more of a gray on the outside. It's supposed to be his hair, but it just looks sloppy. I think my light is a little bit too harsh for it to pick up on the camera. And same with on his legs here on the side. And you can tell it's just kind of more gray. So since I don't have the Marvel Universe version of Puck, I do want to compare him to the I think it's supposed to be 5-inch scale. This is a little gimmick Puck that comes with the Snowbird that I showed in one of my previous hauls, and it's probably a little bit bigger than the MU version, might be close to the same size, but being even a 5-inch scale, I mean, his head is pretty damn close to that size. You know, it seems like he needs to be, you know, a little person is still has the same sized head as a regular human adult, so his head should be about close to the same size as Cyclops, and just look how tiny that is. It is just not, it does not work at all. And zoom back a little bit and put him standing next to him. I mean, he's just barely above Cyclops' crotch there, where pretty much in every image that I've seen from the comics, he should be to about the middle of his chest, so he's about almost an inch too short. It's just really crazy how tiny he is. My daughter is now, she just turned 11 years old, and she comes up to probably the top of my chest, so that just gives you an idea how tiny. I mean, this guy would be basically like a 5-year-old child, or maybe even younger, smaller than that. But yeah, I don't know why they screwed that up so bad. He should be at least to his waist, if not to his pecs. So we'll make it work, but it's a bummer. You know, it's good that we finally get him, and we're that much closer to completing Alpha Flight. like I said in previous videos, we can only cross our fingers that we'll get to see a lot of the other characters that we're missing from that team. But anyway, that's why you gotta go with custom sometimes. Alright, well, hopefully you guys liked the video. You share with your friends, hit like, and I always love hearing back from you guys, so please leave a comment below. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you later.